Okay, so I'm gonna share three of the top things that I believe that dancers face um, when wanting to perform or using dance as a career. Um, I would say the top three things would have to be uh, attention span. A lot of people nowadays don't have the attention span to just sit there and watch dance video. That's just what it is. Um, you could be making some of the best content ever, and you could be, you know, everything is on point, balance is on point, timing is on point, um, and all together it's just falling into place. And you know, people might watch 20 seconds of your clip, and you have a whole 5 to 9 minute video of you putting on a spectacular performance. And it could be discouraging to a lot of dancers, you know what I'm saying, to the point where they don't know why they do it. People don't watch anyway, and it kind of separates the love of just doing dance in general. You know, people's attention span is just getting shorter and shorter every year. People are so accustomed to watching dog clips, or they're accustomed to watching funny skit videos now, and if it's not catching the eye immediately, people are not going to watch it. That engagement is not going to be there, and that could be disheartening and discouraging to people with pure talent, in that field, which is totally, understandable. We're in the new day and age where TikTok is popping like crazy. Snapchat, Facebook and Instagram Reels are just killing the game right now. So you kind of gotta adapt to making short clips, and it's kind of taking you away from your love and passion for it, right? Another thing that is a major problem for dancers, I would say, people criticize a lot, calling it cringy. And that's understandable. You go to bars nowadays, or you might go out to clubs, and you might want to just go out and perform, or just because you feel good and you just want to let loose and dance. And some people kind of make it, make us look bad in a sense. I ain't gonna lie, they kind of make us look bad in a sense. Some people don't like people twerky. I can't even say it right now. But they don't like people, forming their bodies into different angles and weird different type of moves and everything. And, people just think it's cringy. Whether they think you're good, you could be spectacular, and people still just, can't stand the fact that they're just moving their body in weird ways, and like I said, it just comes off cringy to people, without them truly understanding what dance is and the history of dance. And some people actually, have the knowledge of it. They just, think it's cringy. And that, again, can, discourage a lot of artists from wanting to perform. They might get negative comments under their videos, and so they'll mute them, or they'll hide the comments. And I would say don't do that. Don't hide the comments. If you love dancing and that's what you do it for the love of it. You don't do it to get approval from people or validation that you're good. You like doing it. Keep putting your shit out, bro. Just keep putting out, sis. Go ahead, do that shit. I would say the third thing would be, people don't view it as an art. And, that's another disheartening thing for dance artists to hear. that it's not an actual art form. They don't see the artistic mind behind it. You know, they don't view it in the same light as a painter or even a graffiti artist. They don't see it in the same light as a musician or instrumentalist. You know, they don't see the art behind it. They don't get the art dialogue of dance. They don't get the origins of dance, and that could bother a lot of dancers because, you know, you can put all your blood, sweat, and tears into dance, put hours into a studio session, in class sessions, just for people to tell you that, you know, it's not really an art. I don't see it as a sport per se. And this is another big indicator that, you know, discourages people to, you know, put out their skill set, you know, put out what they been having in their phones, stored in their computers, and you know, it makes them doubtful about it. Should they do something else? Should they pick up another skill or pick up another talent? I'm telling you, don't do that shit either. It's nothing wrong with picking up another skill per se, but don't just not put out content because people don't view it that way, or some people don't view it that way. We see you over here, dog. We see you over here, girl. We you know, we root for your ass. You know, so just keep encouraging each other to put it out there. You know, whether you're a ballet dancer, you're a salsa dancer, you're a tutter, you're a crump dancer, hip hop dancer, break dancer, mime dancer, contemporary artist, you know, whether you know, whatever style you are, go ahead, keep putting that shit out. Yo, we watching. You know, you might not get, you know, 2 million views on it, you know, unless you're in New York Times Square and, you know, there's a bunch of people out and a bunch of people recording, so they might all post it on theirs. But, you know, just because you're not getting the viewership that you want, just because you're not getting, you know, people fully engaged into it, doesn't mean there's not, you know, 20 dedicated people just actually watching your content. Doesn't mean you're not getting, you know, loyal people watching your content. They're watching. You know, it doesn't matter if it's a small following. Keep doing it. But I would say that those are the top 3 things that I could think of that, you know, that dancers struggle with, and you know, discourage them. Top 3 things that is a problem in the dancing world. You know, I go through the same thing. You know, I have people that criticize me or, you know, comment negative things. I just tell them, you know, sorry you didn't like it. You know, I'm improving. It sucks you didn't like it, bro. You know, it's all good. All love your way, man. But I also have people, you know, when I walk around in the community, you know, and they might see me or notice, you know, I don't have a big following, but, you know, just in my general area, they'll tell me, hey, I watch your videos, you know, I like what you do, keep doing it, you know, don't ever stop, you know, you brightening my day when you do that. You bring some joy into the world, and a world full of negativity, you know, because obviously in today's day and age, it's too much of that shit going on, you know. So, you know, keep being positive, keep being you, keep being authentic. You know, it's your boy Sid, man. I'm out here.